Drivers, start your engines.
Welcome everybody to the Multi-League Thunder Friday Night Thunder Series. My name is Scott Patton. I'm joined in the booth by Ken Huber. We're doing 104 laps at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, paying tribute to a fallen member of Multi-League Series. That is Richard Smith. That's a Richard Smith Memorial Race tonight. 104 laps should be a great time with a full field tonight. Looking forward to it. I'm joined in the booth by Ken Huber out in Montana. How you doing out there, Ken?
Doing pretty good there, Scott. Out here honoring a fallen member of Multi-League out here at New Hampshire. A little bit of solemn circumstance, but at the same time, these guys pulled it together. We're going to have fun tonight and watch these guys go around in these tour mods tonight on Friday night. It's something we haven't done before, Scott. So you and me are kind of getting together on an unusual night on a format that we're not used to. So this ought to be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. We're on the track right now looking at qualifying. We are a minute and a half in, 3 minutes and 30 seconds to go. We've got a nice field here full of Multi-League members. Andrew Schulte, top of the board there from the Bandit Motorsports camp. He's Smith in second right now. And right now we're looking at Greg Mall getting loose off of turn number 4 there, coming to the green flag to take his lap. We'll see what he does here around the Magic Mile. Should be a exciting one tonight for sure. We'll get some special guests, some names that we're not so used to seeing as we normally broadcast on Mondays with the Stone River Outfitters Cup Series. But looking forward to talking to some of those folks throughout the night. And modifieds, like I said, it's new to us. It's been a while since I've been behind the wheel of a modified. I'm sure probably the same for you, Ken. But should be fun as we see these things wheel around what is kind of their super speedway. The modifieds here is almost like a Talladega race, a little bit of drafting, as these guys are almost flat out around the entire mile flat track here at New Hampshire.
Yes, God, and this is actually my first experience in these things. I had to buy the car to come out to this race tonight, and I turned a few laps in it. A lot of fun. These cars only got 2 gears, so I get it up into second, and then it's just managing momentum and getting around the car, getting around the track. It does look like there'll be at least one pit stop tonight. They'll need to make one pit stop because I was showing about a 70-lap fuel window there, and so yeah, probably about the halfway point we'll be looking at pit stops, but definitely should see some exciting action. All these cars are pretty close together.
Yeah, certainly top of the board there. Kyle Sturck, no stranger to the Friday night series. From what I understand, we don't see him often on Monday nights, but great modified driver. 29.882 seems to be the top of the board right now. Bandit guy showing up strong there outside of row number 1 with a 29.9. As we look down the board, like I said, competitive field. Everybody within about 2 to 3 tenths of the leader. So great show here tonight.
And during regular season, so they just wrapped up the season in these tour modifieds, I think a couple weeks ago, I think back on September 24th or something like that. I was looking at the standings. I believe Heath Smith won the championship. He's currently qualified in 4th. So Heath Smith is like one of these guys that pretty much dominated last season. I remember watching Facebook and seeing his car picture up almost every Friday night.
Absolutely. As we get those updates on Facebook and we see the various winners throughout the series, it's kind of fun to follow them, even though we don't see them all on Monday nights. But names like, who was it the other day? Not Bill Paradise, but somebody won the championship just this past Sunday in James Hearn's series, I believe. I forget who that was now.
James Brown's series. And I actually can't remember myself. So I didn't know that series was wrapped up, but very well could be. So.
Speaking of wrapping up, we're just about to wrap up qualifying here. Looks like there's one car out on the track still, making some laps. I don't know if it's double.
That's Double D. The 71 is out there
it is.
Trying to get that last lap in. He's got 30 seconds, and that's about how much more time he's on the backstretch right now, getting ready to bring it around into 3 and 4. And this get his final lap in. Let's see. He hasn't posted a time yet, so this will be the only lap he's going to be able to get in. Yes.
He comes off turn number 4. We're in the cockpit with him. Flat footing here. 15 seconds to go. And Double D puts himself in P17, 30.483. Starting towards the back, but it's a long race tonight. And I'm sure he's going around for lap number 2. Although time's going to wind out on him as we set the starting grid. Looks like Kyle Sturck with the pole position here at New Hampshire. We'll get to that starting grid here in just a moment.
Yeah, and Kyle was fastest during practice too, so no surprise there. So as the drivers head out to the field, I guess we'll bring up the starting order here for everyone.
Here we are with the starting grid tonight. Kyle Sturck starting on the pole, 29.882. Andrew Schulte from Bandit outside with Christopher Campbell inside of row number 2 with a 29.969. Heath Smith outside of row number 2 from Talmo, Georgia. Justin Michael rounding out the top 5. Jack Watts, Dougie Hevron from Jensen Beach, Florida inside of row number 3 with 30.074. Steve McGough, Mark Billen, and Jason Hughes from out in Kansas rounding out the top 10.
Yeah, and 11th in the 6th car is John Stepanich. On his inside is Kim Quick in that 21 car, one of the league owners, actually. Joe Marks. Well, we're hoping to get get a chance to talk to Joe tonight, maybe during a caution or something, but Joe is one of the guys that definitely instrumental in putting this race on tonight for Richard. So hats off to Mark. He's starting in 13th. Trent Drum starts in 14th. Mike Erder, the 117, will start in 15th. Greg Mull in the number 7 car will start in 16th. That's unusual for the Bandit guys. Double D, who we just watched get that qualifying run, will start 17th. Scott Blaney, 18th. John Hamby is the first driver that did not take a qualifying lap, and he will start in 19th. And Charles Widener wraps out your top 20.
There it is. And shotgun on the field, Kerry Cleaver from Inverness, Florida. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, but also from Bandit Motorsports. Shotgun on the field in the 69 modified. That rounds out the field as the pace car takes off here. 1 lap to green as we go 104 laps around the magic mile, 1.058 miles to be technically correct. So just over 104 miles tonight. But should be a good one here. If you're in the chat, let us know who you're following, who your favorite driver is tonight. As we change up the driver field, hopefully get a little bit different viewer audience. If you're in the chat watching, send us a message. Let us know who you're pulling for here. What do you think, Ken? Do you have a favorite so far in the field?
Well, as I mentioned at the top when we were covering the broadcast, I'm favoring Heath Smith right now in that 1 car. Pretty solid in these cars. Haven't raced with him before in them, but like I said, I've seen the results, so Heath Smith probably be my favorite.
Results speak for themselves. Heath Smith's, of course, starting in that yellow and black car there outside of row number 2. He's got a great spot back there. Looking forward to see what he can do in this field as we come down to take the green flag. Pace car is in. Here we are, 104 laps on the board. On the pole, Kyle Sturck in the Geico restart zone. There we are, we're green flag for the Richard Smith Memorial Race, October 7th, 2022, around the Magic Mile.
Yeah, and jumps ahead of Andrew Schulte quite solidly. 2 behind him, Christopher Campbell and Heath Smith, side by side still, trying to get that battle sorted out. Heath Smith on the outside there, that yellow and red machine. And on the inside, Christopher Campbell, it looks like he's going to get that past mate there, Scott, in that black car.
He does a little bit of slide job there up into the second groove. Should be interesting to see how the grooves develop throughout the night, throughout the tire wear, and as the fuel dissipates in these fuel tanks. See if it changes much at all, but right now it looks like that second groove is the most dominant groove. And looks like back at the lead here, Andrew Schulte all over the back of Kyle Sturck, letting him know that he is not happy sitting in second spot there, looking for a way around here.
And we are under caution. And we got Jason Hughes going backwards in that 58, that orange 58 car. I'm not sure what happened, but sure we'll bring up a replay here.
Yeah, we'll take a look at what happened. You said Hughes Jason, right back there. Yeah.
He was running, it looks like, in 7th at the time. And I'm looking at it now. Yeah, he got loose, so just in the middle of the corner, and then the 83 gets in the back of him. The 83 car being, I have to look at that. That's Stephen McGough, I guess.
Here it is. You're watching it live. Jason Hughes in the middle of turn 1 and 2. Just gets a little loose. Look at him wheeling that orange 58 car. And then, like I said, Steven gets into him there off of turn number 2. Black and Decker needs a little bit cleanup off of turn number 2. Jason Hughes around, bring up the first caution. Lap number 3, 2 on the board there. Coming to 3 right now.
Yeah, so one of the things I experienced there, Scott, when I was running a few practice laps out here, so the car does get a little free. from the center off. Pretty controllable for the most part, but if you're not used to the car, then I guess it can get away from you. And if you got somebody directly behind you, could present even more of a challenge. But Jason Hughes and Stephen McGow will get these cars reset and back out there. I believe there's one quick repair tonight, Scott. So on the Cup Series, we don't run quick repairs, but I think in this series they do. So if they do get enough damage, they'll be able to get in and get it fixed.
Yeah, certainly, but I wouldn't know if I would want to be using that fast repair this early in the race, but you got to do what you got to do. These cars already don't have fenders on them to begin with, so they get that as a plus. But get the Nerf bars. You know about the Nerf bars, Ken, right?
Yeah, sure, I guess. It's basically kind of an open wheel car. I don't know what to make of these.
Here's a good view of the Nerf bar in the front. I did some camera work this week. We put some cameras on these things on board on the front bumper, and I figured the camera's probably a little bit safe behind the Nerf bar in the front. So I figured there's going to be a lot of contact there, so there it is at the front side. At the back side, probably there it is right underneath the rear bumper. So got some great camera work tonight. Looking forward to seeing something a little bit different that we don't see in the Cup Series on Mondays. As the lights are out, lap number 5 on the board, we're going to double file them up and go green flag racing 1 lap from now.
Yeah, so far they're still single file, so there might be, I think they're going to have a single file start here, Scott. I'm going to guess it's due to the rules they have set up in case there's a lot of cautions. But anyway, Kyle Sturck is going to lead him to the green flag. Andrew Schulte back there in second. Christopher Campbell in third. Heath Smith in fourth. Justin Michael in fifth. Jack Watts in sixth. Kim Quick in seventh. Stephen McGow in 8th, and Doug Hebron in 9th, and Trent Drum rounds out your top 10, and I'll let Scott take him to the green.
Here we are, Kyle Sturck in that orange and black, sharp-looking number 83 modified behind the pace car. Bring him down to green flag.
Pace car ducks in. They're looking for that Geico restart zone, and there he's away. You see Kyle Sturck get a nice jump there. The 81 car, Andrew Schulte, staying right there in his draft, and just behind them, Christopher Campbell. Didn't get the greatest start. Got Heath Smith working the back of that 124 car right now. Justin Michael back there in 5th has fallen in behind Heath Smith. All pretty much single file. I'm looking back quite a ways back. There's some double file or some double wide racing towards the back, but it looks like they're getting that sorted at the moment. It's Charles Widener back there in 17th, all the way back in 17th, and up a little bit closer in 14th. Mike Herder is having a heck of a battle there with John Stepanich in that white 6 machine.
There he is. Mike Herder is in the red and yellow car there, trying to float the outside. And John Stepanich in that black number 6 down on the inside. Almost 3 wide there off of the back straightaway, thinks better of it. Mike Herder trying to follow the path there of the number 2 blue car. It was on 2. Mark Bill in there on the outside in lane number 3, leading the pack. John Stepanich doing a great job here, keeping up the fight.
And just behind those 3, you got Joe Marks in that 4, that nice American flag painted modified out there, bringing some patriotic colors to the race tonight.
Yeah, there it is up close. Joey, of course, a Marine Corps veteran along with myself. He usually has a Marine Corps themed car, but out here sporting the American flag, sharp looking car there.
No real changes up front. We got Kyle Sturck and Andrew Schulte kind of nose and tail, and then just behind them, we got Christopher Campbell and Heath Smith kind of nose to tail. So kind of a battle, a duel of fates, or so to speak, I guess.
There it is. We're on the roof cam right now. 3rd place, Christopher Campbell. See what it looks like with these guys. I think the cockpit view is a little more interesting. We go cockpit with Christopher Campbell. You see him wheel this thing. See how loose. We saw several guys get quite loose, swatting flies here in the cockpits. Down to turn number 1. We'll see what it looks like from Christopher Campbell's view here. He's pretty steady on that wheel. That kind of tells me he's got that modified hooked up and running pretty well the way he probably wants, and not too loose off these corners here.
Well, all the way back in 9th, got Doug Hebron. He might have moved up to 7th. Doug Hebron is starting to make his way up through the field. I think he's up in 7th right now. I have to wait for my timing and scoring. And just behind them, you got the 7 car of Greg Mall on the outside there of Stephen McGow, I believe it was. in the 83. That's correct. And Greg Mall makes that pass.
Whoa, we see that 22 of Dougie get up in the wall off of turn number 2. Leave some black marks probably on the wall on the outside, using every bit of this racetrack like he's used to doing here. The slide job in front of Greg Mall. Because I may be out of shape off of turn 2, but the second half of the racetrack is a different deal. I'm back up to speed and fighting for positions. You can see Dougie out here in the modified. This is comfort zone. Dougie was a modified racer for many, many years before he got into Cup in the late 80s. Good to see Dougie out here.
Yeah, definitely. I moved up to the 6th place car, Jack Watts, right now. He was on the inside of Justin Michael in the 87. Now he's got Kim Quick trying to pass him on the outside. I think that 77 went down low. And that's some great camera work we got going on tonight, Scott. So compliments to the cameraman on this race tonight.
We're trying here.
And Kim Quick makes that pass on that 77 car of Jack Watts. And then you can see Doug Hevron in that 22 just behind Jack Watts. And I think Jack Watts is kind of not running the preferred line at the moment, running that far down low, and it's allowing the cars to go by on the outside.
Yeah, there's Doug trying to take advantage, looking forward to that 77 car. Jack Watts, normally in the red, shiny-looking Budweiser car on Monday nights, but he's traded that in for a Logitech sponsor modified here. And Dougie is looking for a way around here, trying to find the fast line around a multi-groove New Hampshire Motor Speedway.
Up front, big battle up front. So Kyle Streck's trying to hold on to that, Kyle Sturck, I should say, trying to hold on to that lead. It looks like Andrew Schulte has gotten by and will be leading this time by as the 124 goes underneath the 83 as well.
Wheel to wheel here, Kyle Sturck. Looking on the inside is Christopher Campbell looking to pick up that spot. Man, I love this view.
Yeah, those camera views are just awesome tonight, Scott. Kudos to that. I'm looking at Heath Smith in 4th place currently, trying to find a way around the two ahead of him there, and that would be Christopher Campbell and Kyle Sturck. And Heath Smith, it looks like the 83 got loose or something like that. Heath Smith's going to get under him and move Heath Smith up to 3rd. And as you know, Scott, that's my pick, so that's who I'm rooting for.
That is. He's sticking strong in that top 3 there. If I had to pick one, I'm going to go for a dark horse here. Maybe a dark horse, but probably not on Friday nights. Dougie F. Hevron, DFH as he's known in the field. He's my pick for tonight.
That's a nice choice there, Scott. And he is marching his way up front here, so never count the man out. He's under a lot of pressure right now. He's got the 77 of Jack Watts just behind him in the 7 car of Greg Mall. Those two guys have been battling side by side. Greg Mall trying to take the 77 on the low side. It looks like the 77 might be watching the broadcast, decided to move up a lane or two.
Here goes Greg Mall looking on the inside, see if he can get it done here in turn 3. Gives him plenty of space. Lets off early. And Greg trying to make that work, but decides to fall in line instead. How are we looking at back up front here? 81 of Andrew Schulte still leading. The 124 Christopher Campbell under pressure from your guy, Heath Smith. Looking outside, inside, any which way he can get momentum going down the backstretch. Man, close call down there.
Yeah, I think he's trying to snooker him out of that high line right now, and because he's had the run a couple of times to go take it down low, but he's elected not to. So I think what he's trying to do is open up that high side and trying to figure out a way to do it.
Here's kind of where we start to separate the field a little bit. 19 laps into this thing, the top 4, Andrew Schulte, Christopher Campbell, Heath Smith, Kyle Sturck have distanced themselves by an interval of about just over 2 seconds from 5th place, Justin Michael.
Moving back in the field, there's a good side-by-side of battle going on with John Stepanich, Mike Herder. Looks like they're just getting that sorted out as we go to it, so they all get single file there. Just ahead of them, Mark Billen was side-by-side. Charles Widener now working on the 6 car, David Schreck. Looks to the inside. Just behind them, you got Joe Marks in the 70 car of Johnny Hamby looking for a way around that Marine.
Joey Marks taking the high side all the way up, taking a nice diamond groove in turn 1 and 2, taking the momentum down the backstretch, completes that pass, or at least holds off the 70 car of Johnny Hamby.
I believe Andrew Schulte, who is up front, lost the rear end of the car somehow, and we were under caution.
I have a spectator climbing the fence.
there it is. NASCAR saying caution out in turn 4. We'll take a look. Let's rewind here and see what happened off turn 4 with Andrew Schulte.
Yeah, it looks like he had a little bit of help there, Scott. Like he just got him and Kyle Sturck got a little close together there and caused that 81 machine to get spun out.
Yeah, I'm trying to queue up the replay here, but I just lost Andrew. Let's see, where is he at? Maybe he disconnected? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I seen him on the track. He was running back in about 10th, I believe, or 11th. Yeah, he's on pit lane right now, Scott, so.
Oh, there we go. I've got him queued up here. We'll take a look. Here we go. Queued up here with... Oh, no, that goes to live. Oh, I keep screwing this up. Anyway, we'll cover pit stops and then come back to these guys here in a minute.
Well, everybody except for Christopher Campbell and Kyle Sturck headed to pit lane. Heath Smith being the first on pit lane, and the 22 car.
Who's the first out?
Yeah, Dougie, your man.
Oh, yeah.
Beat my man off pit lane. Now, the question is, how many tires did Doug take? Now, they weren't out there, so they were out there for about 20 laps on green flags, so I don't know that there's that much wear on these tires yet, but this should get them to the end of the race now. The only question is, if we have a late race caution, how good those tires are going to be and if you're going to need to pit and get tires or not.
Yeah, of course. I thought Doug was first off the pit road. He was, of course, first off pit road, but he's got the cars that stayed out of Christopher Campbell and Kyle Sturck here to deal with on the restart. So Dougie will be starting third on this restart when we go back to green.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what 20 laps on those tires of those front two are going to do and if they're going to be able to hold off the guys behind them. So, and that'll kind of be a telling moment for the end of the race in case we do have a late race caution as well. And I do believe I'd have to check the info. Let's see, we're looking at our typical weather, partly cloudy, 79 degrees, track temperature 86. I'm checking to see if we got a green-white checker here. And yeah, I don't know. I don't see it in the rules here. Irregardless, it's going to be an exciting race anyway. These cars, you know, are really hard to escape each other, although we've seen, you know, a couple different packs kind of develop throughout the race, but nobody was in danger of going a lap down. So all these cars were still pretty close together as we're getting ready to go green flag racing here in probably another lap.
Yep, looks like it. Pace car coming down. We'll see if we get probably a single file restart again here in the modifieds. There you see it. Lights are out. Lap 24 on the board. Going green, lap 25. We're almost a quarter of the way through this thing already around the Magic Mile.
So leading them to the green will be the 124, Christopher Campbell, and it looks like we are going to go. Oh, I thought we were going to go double file.
I think we
it's
are.
Hard to tell.
Looks like double file. Yeah.
So the fans know what happens here is there's a setting that you can do when you set up the races, and basically if there's multiple cautions, you can have it default to a single file if you have so many cautions in a row. So right after the green flag, we had a caution. I think that's why we went single file, and then we went 20 laps green. So now we're going to do it double file.
Let's go. I think my boy Dougie's going to be maybe show some aggression on this start. We'll go from the front bumper cam of Dougie Heveron's car, looking at the back of the 124 car of Christopher Hamill, leading us to the green. Coming to the green, lap 25. There he is on the gas. He knows how to drive this thing here in the Magic Mile. Let's watch for a lap or two here off Dougie's front bumper cam.
Yeah, down there on the inside of Heath Smith right now. Heath Smith trying to get around him on the outside, but that 22 is holding strong so far. Those two leaders are going at it. They're both on older tires, so this might stack up the field a little bit, although I don't have that much experience in these cars, so it's hard to say. But Heath Smith gets around Doug Heveron in the 22. Heveron under pressure now with the 81 of Andrew Schulte, who had that, who got spun or spun out, trying to make his way back up to the front. He was the leader at the time.
Yeah, looks like Heath Smith dodging in, burning there in the front straightaway, trying to find a lane there. It's clear. Stay in front of Doug Heveron, takes the outside. Almost make wheel contact, probably within a couple of inches there off turn number 2. Heath Smith gets some position. Now he's got to deal with the 81 of Andrew Schulte. Trying to float on the outside there into the picture with a Camping World 81 modified there. Side by
like this,
side, Heath
Scott.
Smith off of turn number 2, off turn number 4 rather.
I like this, Scott. Our picks are going mano-y-mano right now. And they're behind a couple of guys that are running really strong themselves. Christopher Campbell and Kyle Sturck, who Kyle Sturck was our pole sitter and the fastest during practice. So Kyle doing a great job. But you see Heath Smith down on the inside right now, working his way around Kyle on the inside. Power move. Oh, and they get together. Oh, and Kyle Sturck is upside down, going down the front stretch on his roof, and he collects up Greg Mall, and looks like everybody else gets through. But oh, big time problems for the 083.
Big.
Oh, and Doug Hevron was somehow involved too. I see he's just getting going here too. So
See if we can rewind that of a yeah. Let's see. Well, my replay button's not quite working, so we'll do it the old-fashioned way here. Stand by.
yeah, that was definitely exciting. Meanwhile, Heath Smith, it looked like, almost like something mechanical went wrong with Heath Smith, because it was like Heath Smith just drove him up into the wall on the street.
Yeah, there it
stretches.
is. Just saw it. Makes the right turn on the straightaway, puts Sturck on his roof. Sturck trying to chase it down, and then Heath Smith gets into Dougie. That's what happened in turn 1. I don't know if Dougie came down on him, but either way, they make contact wheel to wheel. Dougie backs it into the fence, no contact, hopefully no damage, and a little excitement here. Sturck, of course, getting the worst of that caution.
We're 30 laps into this, Scott. Do you want to bring up Joe and have a chat with Joe?
Yeah, let's do that. Joe Marks, who kind of spearheaded this whole event here in multi-league. Of course, we're talking about the Memorial Race for Richard Smith. Joe, can you talk to me about a little bit about what it took and what it involved to kind of put this thing on, and what Richard Smith did for multi-league throughout the years?
Well, it was just kind of a collaboration with his teammates, Kyle and Heath. I didn't know that they would want to do this, but as soon as I found out he passed, I had planned on it regardless of what they were thinking, just because we had raced modifieds, for, I don't know, 3 or 4 years solid there. And, he helped me out a lot, even though you can't really tell from my driving. He really helped me out a ton. Not so much with setups and stuff, just teaching me how to do things and stuff. And even though we weren't on the same team, he helped me where he could, and I really appreciated it. I really considered him a friend, so. But, as soon as you saw it, you jumped in on the bandwagon. It was much appreciated. I'm not much of a promoter, so, that was always good. But yeah, I don't know what else to say. He was just a great guy, and friend to anybody and everybody, really. So.
Yeah, certainly, and I think that's what we think about everybody pretty much in multi-league. We, among the best of them, that we're not afraid to boot anybody in a heartbeat. So for somebody like Richard Smith, for everybody to have great things to say about him, we put up the race, we put up a couple promotions. Not to mention, we got to talk about prizes that we have on the line here. So people stepped in, Dougie and a couple other people stepped in to put up money and trophies and whatnot. We'll talk about that later in the race, but that just says a lot for Richard Smith and what he's done for multi-league throughout all these years. And there's been nothing but great things from all these drivers, and even from drivers that haven't raced with them. As you know, there's a couple drivers, guys from the Bandit Motorsports guys, and some other drivers in this field that we don't normally see on Friday nights, but they knew it was a great cause and wanted to support it, so they all came out here. And just want to say thanks to you, Joey, for kind of spearheading this and putting it together along with Heath Smith. We'll talk to him hopefully eventually in this race, but good luck out there. How's the car looking out there? Cracking the top 5.
Yeah, I bumped my way up a little bit here underneath that caution. Another thing I want to say, Richard Smith was one of the best drivers around. He won an overall championship in this car with 4 incidences for the entire season. That just shows how clean of a racer he was. Wow.
Yeah, a lot of us are lucky to get out of any given race with less than 4 incidents. So, yeah, great all-around driver, clean driver, respectable driver from what I've heard from pretty much everybody. Ken Huber, we were talking before the race, he completely agrees too. And so, yeah, Godspeed to Richard Smith. We lost last month in September, but hopefully we're doing a lot of good for him, raising couple dollars for the family. We'll talk about that later in the race, but all thanks to your efforts and combined effort from multi-league. So go get them out there. Looks like a double filed up there, and we look forward to seeing you later in the race, Joey.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
See ya. So, speaking of 4 incident points, we got Heath Smith, my pick out there. He's going to start this thing out. He's got Andrew Schulte. These two guys are up front at the start of the race, waiting to hit that Geico restart zone. That one car is away. Going to get a good jump on the 81 car. 95 just behind them is approaching the 81. Decided to back off. That's Charles Widener in that solid red. I want to guess that's a Craftsman car because that's what he drives in the Cup Series.
Yeah, looks like it's a Trading Paints. I think I saw on the rear quarter panel there, the 95, Charlie Widener.
Yeah. Just behind them, you got a battle there going too wide. I'm just trying to look back to see who that was. It looks like it was Mike Erder, maybe.
Erder on the outside of Justin Michael here.
Yeah, and who's passing who at the moment? If Justin Michael's going by Erder, he's going by the hard way, so... Both these guys not giving an inch. You can see wheel to wheel. To me, the preferred line is on the outside, but these modified cars, it is kind of nice. There is some options for you where you might not find in the Cup cars. So looks like Justin is going to do a power move. Try to slide it up there. Can't quite get it done. You see that 117 claw back, but I think by the straightaway here, no. You just get so much momentum on the outside there. You can see the 117 getting back side by side. Justin Michael just can't seem to clear Mike Erder at the moment. There he goes, does the slide job on the backstretch and got that position taken.
Great job there by Erder by not giving up, but ultimately has to see the position 2. Justin Michael picks up P4, cracking the top 10 here. And Joey Marks sliding back behind this battle in P6.
What I was going to mention, the guys on older tires, I think that is Christopher Howell. Was that Christopher Howell or Christopher Campbell?
Yeah,
Christopher Campbell. And I can't remember who the other driver was, so I apologize, but they both headed pit lane and got some fresh tires on those things. Some fresh Hoosiers.
Fresh rubber, as they say. Looks like a Doug Hevron involved in that incident. Climbing his way to P8 right now. Battling here for P7. Right in back of Kim Quick. See what he can do here with Kim.
Yeah, Kim's always a fun car to pass, so I think most of the drivers really enjoy passing Kim Quick.
Is fun the right word? I don't know.
We'll see what Doug Hevron can do with Kim here. Now, Kim is pretty solid in these cars as well, so he's some other series he might have some issues, but Kim is looking really strong right now as he's working all over the back of Joe Marks, who we just spoke to.
He is doing a great job there in P7. Well, Ken, we wanted to talk, I mentioned it with talking to Joey, but we've got several cash prizes up for grabs here tonight. Of course, for the winner, which right now, Heath Smith, your guy, under pressure from Andrew Schulte for the lead here. We'll keep an eye on that battle as we talk about $50 going up for the winner here tonight at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, 104 laps. $50 to the winner, as well as another donation from John Henderson, who's not in the field, but he wanted to participate, even though he couldn't participate in the race itself. He wanted to support the cause for Richard Smith Memorial Race, and he put up $25 for the last car on the lead lap.
Very nice, guys. I'm sure the league appreciates it a great deal. So, and you too, Scott, for coming out here and last minute putting this broadcast on. Like I said, we only do this on Monday nights, and you're able to pull this thing together. You're the guy with all the work to do with these broadcasts. So, yeah, great job. Well, we're under caution. Not sure what happened. I have to take a look. Might be the 69 car. I see him Kerry Cleaver way off.
Let's see here. Kyle Stark, I'm showing. Maybe he had an incident. We'll see what happened. Kyle Stark here off of turn 4, maybe. Oh, looks like it just happened in front of these guys. Maybe Kyle Stark gets involved just there. And Greg Maul gets involved. Try to rewind it here. Nope,
Greg Maul and Kyle Sturck. So they both those guys were involved in the last one there too. Greg Maul is now headed pit lane, so it looks like everybody stayed out except for Greg Maul. Looking for Kyle Sturck, see if he came in. Kyle Sturck is a lap down, actually. First car lap down. Catching back up to the rear of the field there.
That's Kerry Cleaver behind. Looks like he's got some suspension issues. Probably keeping that. Actually, no, not Kerry Cleaver. I'm sorry about that. Christopher Campbell, maybe? No.
No, you were right. Kerry Cleaver. Oh, wait a second.
No, Steve McGough. Steve McGough, final answer. Some suspension problems coming to pit lane here off turn 4.
Good catch, because, yeah, all those lap cars between them, I was having a hard time telling where everybody was. So you see the 58, Jason Hughes on pit lane, the 71 of Double D Desjardins. Got to keep wanting to think he's a frozen pizza or something. Some names I just go with.
That's it.
But Desjardins, I'll get it for you.
Like the 58, Jason front. Hughes beating all those guys off of pit road. Heath Smith, Andrew Schulte up front.
Yeah, back up front, Heath Smith, kind of now that he's got the lead, I think this is where he's going to like to stay. But, you know, Andrew Schulte is a very patient man, and I've seen him race in the other seasons. I haven't seen him race the modifieds, but I would never want to count Andrew Schulte out of these things.
If you look through the paint schemes here, let's look at the second place car of Andrew Schulte. All the guys from Bandit Motorsports kind of hit me up for paint jobs because they wanted to participate to support Richard Smith this week when they heard about the race, and they all wanted to do kind of a similar paint scheme. So we put together a Camping World car as somewhat of a joke, because a couple years ago we were racing in another league, and they all wanted to race Camping World cars and confuse the broadcasters. And now I'm the broadcaster and the one that painted the car. So good luck at differentiating them, but the car numbers are different as you look through. We're going for a closer view here. This is Andrew Schulte. There's Justin Michael in the 87. Let me scroll through the field here more. We've got, of course, Greg Mall on pit road in the 7 car, and then Kerry Cleaver in the 69 car also on pit road, all in Camping World cars.
Yeah, I'm wondering about that 7 Camping World. That'll be one less car you have to keep track of, but I have a feeling there's a lot of damage on Greg Mall's car, because still on pit lane, trying to get that thing fixed. And then I see another one of those Camping World cars headed off pit lane right at the moment. That would be Kerry Cleaver in the 69 car.
There he comes, off pit road.
Well, we're going to reset. Lights are out in the pace car, and your top 10 are Heath Smith. Going to take that inside lane. Andrew Schulte on his outside. Charles Widener having a great night in that red 95 car will start on the inside in third. Justin Michael on his outside. You'll see those 2 Camping World cars together. Mike Erner out there in 5th place on the inside. Joe Marks, who we spoke to earlier, on the outside. Kim Quick going to start this thing in 7th. Scott Blaney will start in 8th. Johnny Hamby has moved his way up to 9th. He was the first car that didn't take a qualifying lap, and he's up to 9th there, Scott. And Trent Drum rounds out your top 10.
There it is. We come to the green flag. Lap number 45 is going to be going on the board here shortly. We've got Jeff Merck in the chat, of course, watching from Florida. He's stuck without a race car because he has no Googles, as I call them, or no internets. But he says, Semper Fi. I think we're talking about Joe there being a Marine Corps veteran as well as myself. Appreciate that, Mark. And Michael Milfeld says, ouch. I think he was referring to one of the replays, maybe Kyle Stark being on his roof. Good to see you watching, Mike.
Yeah, and we got the green flag underway. Heath Smith took the lead there. 81 of Andrew Schulte tucked in behind. Right now, the 95 is battling Justin Michael. Side by side right now, that 95 of Charles Widener trying to continue to hold on to third, but he's out of the preferred line right now, and I think Justin Michael being on the outside will eventually be able to prevail. They almost touch. Coming out of 4 here, and still side by side. So Charlie, give him a good run at the moment.
That he is. Justin Michael happy being up in that 3rd lane, carrying the momentum. As Charlie maybe tries to dive to the inside for a pass, but thinks better of it. Falls in line behind Justin Michael down the backstretch.
Yeah, he got a little loose there and had to check up there. I think Charlie was pushing pretty hard to stay in there, but the car kind of loosened up on him, had to get out of the throttle and give that position back. Just behind them, you got Joe Marks having a really good night. Got the 117. I want to say they're teammates, but they're cranky boys. I know that. They're nose to tail right now, and Kim Quick in that 21 car, that black, yellow Doritos machine, I guess it is. It almost looks like Doritos, but I want to say it says Bayview on it.
I see Mayhew. I don't know what that is, but we'll go for a quick look here on the 21 Mayhew Tools sponsorship there. Kim Quick.
Looks like they stole their... Oh, okay, so my trading paints isn't up to speed. I can see the difference now, so... And we're under caution. And it looks like the two cars had some issues here, so let's see. That's Mark Dillon dropping back.
Look here off of turn number in the middle, turn 3 and 4 there. Looks like they're side by side for the replay. And there it is, Mark Dillon down the front stretch. Everything looks square here. Let's see what happens in turn 1 here with the number 2 car.
Doug Heveron gets into the back quarter, it looks like, in
what corner was it? Turn?
It was 3 and 4, I believe, yep.
Watch this time around here in 3. Dougie just throwing it in there. Makes it stick. Unfortunately gets on the left rear of Mark Dillon there. There it is. Gets caught up in turn 3 and 4. Dougie does a great job of getting on the brakes. Getting it stopped. Unfortunate for Mark Dillon, though.
Yeah, Mark Dillon headed to pit lane. A few other cars, too. The 71 car is headed to pit lane. That's Double D. And there's another car just ahead there. I'm trying to spot it. I couldn't catch it in time, but 3 cars on pit lane. Heveron, of course, stays out, so Heveron just gave himself a position. Maybe. There's one way to get a position there, Doug. And Scott's rooting for you, so you got to get it back up there. So we're halfway in the race. Why don't we talk to our leader?
That's leader of Heath Smith down there. We'll see if we can find him. Here he is, leading the race out of New Hampshire, the Richard Smith Memorial Race. Heath Smith, which, Heath, I got to tell you, you are Ken Huber's pick tonight to take all the chickers and all the money. But I want to talk a little bit about what this race means to you, and more importantly, what Richard Smith has meant to not only you. You said some nice words this evening on Facebook, as well as what Richard has meant to you racing with him side by side all these years in multi-league.
You know, Scott, and I've known Richard for almost 10, 11 years now and never met the man, but he's taught me a lot of life lessons, just how he condones himself, how he acts, how he races people. He was always so respectful, and at the same time, he won a lot of races. He had his hands in a lot of championships on the SK and Tour Mod series. Man, he just means the world to me. He's just a special person. He's got a special place with me all the time.
Appreciate that. That's what we've been hearing from a lot of people throughout the support and putting on this race. All the what it took, the efforts to put this race on, the people coming up with it. We talked with Joey Marks earlier, and they're all pretty much saying the same thing. And I got to completely agree that it's fascinating, and I find it one big family that we can all race here, being on different parts of the country, if not the world. And talk about people like their brothers, and we would drop anything for him in a heartbeat. And Richard Smith definitely kind of being the epitome of that in terms of modified driving and other cars as well, but I know his specialty was modified driving, so it's really cool that we can put this race on for him here at New Hampshire. Speaking of, what do you got for the rest of this thing? Kind of dominating the first half of this, having some great battles up there with Andrew. How's the tire wear been? How's the pressure been? What's it look like from your cockpit out there?
Everything's been pretty good. I overshot my pit stop, so I ended up having to take 2 right sides. So we see if we can hold them off here. We got 1 to go, and we'll see what we got. You know, I'm pretty comfortable in this car, so maybe I can hold them off.
Sounds good, Heath. We'll throw you down there back with Kyle from Covington Motorsports, and go get them.
Good luck to you.
Thank you, guys.
There it is. We're ready to go back to green. Lap 52, which will be the official halfway bonus here, halfway mark of the 104 laps tonight.
He's going to have a couple of those bandit boys, one on each side of him, one in the rear and one on the side. So you got Andrew Schulte on his outside, got Justin Michael on the inside. Charles Widener now start this thing on the outside in 4th. So we'll see what happens as the pace car ducks into pit lane. And Heath Smith looks like he took off a little early there. Ooh, I hope he didn't get a black flag in the Geico restart zone, but got a great start. 81 now coming in, trying to get on the inside. 87 now challenging on the inside of Charles Widener there. That's Justin Michael trying to take that position back from Charles Widener. But now Charles Widener is in the preferred line on that outside.
There it is. As that battle continues, we saw these guys side by side a couple laps ago. They're not afraid to tangle as they go after it once again. Just Michael not wanting to give up. He's wanting to get up there with his teammate and caution out once again, probably towards the back of the field.
Got
Looks like
Blaney,
Scott
I
Blaney,
think,
maybe, yeah.
on his roof.
We're gonna go watch the replay here, and we are from the restart. We'll see exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Full speed here.
It actually started with David Schreck in the 6 car. Or, I'm sorry, not David Schreck. That was John Stepanich.
Watch that. Those 2 white cars there. John Stepanich on the outside in the red and white car. Scott Blaney down there in the blue 97 car coming into turn number 3. I think this is where the action took place. Those guys just get together down there. There's the contact. Oh, and Blaney gets the worst of that as a 6 car rides up the wall in turn 3 and 4. On his roof.
Hevron gets a piece of that as well. So Hevron's just about been part of every incident on the field tonight. So that that modified is truly modified at this point. It's a good thing that thing doesn't have fenders, because there wouldn't be any at this point.
Right. He's looking for action. I think he found it tonight. Friday Night Thunder Series. Doug Hevron getting a couple incidents.
Hear a lot of drivers chat at the moment, drivers talking to each other. We got another quickie caution. This is what I was talking about, Scott. I don't know how many laps we got, or maybe a half a lap on that one. So if I had to guess, we'll be going single file next time by, but it could be wrong.
That's probably a good assessment.
I see Doug Hevron head in the pit lane, try to get some damage repaired there, make sure that the frame is still in one piece. Got a car in pit lane that's smoking right now, just parked. I don't know who that was. Craig Mall's back out on the track, 9 laps down. Just happened to notice that there, Scott. Looks like he's getting one of the laps back currently.
Yeah, looks like he's on the backstretch there with Doug coming off of pit road. Not sure who that was on. That is the blue car of Scott Blaney smoking on pit road. Looks like his night may be over.
Yeah, that's a hard problem to fix there, Scott. But hopefully these guys can get it settled down. We're 50 laps to go. So 104 laps. So we're over halfway at this point. Talking to Heath, it sounds like that he's just going to run what he's got until the end of this thing and try to hold him off. I don't know how many tires on your data there, Scott. Do you show how many tires Mr. Schulte took?
All I can see is the last pit stop time, which was a 14.9 second stop compared to Heath Smith's 13.9. So I can't see the tire change itself, but.
Yeah, so as they start the field, it looks like it's going to be the same 4, 5. Well, it looks, yeah, we didn't get not any big changes. Watching Hamby's up a position from the last time I looked at him. He's up from 9th to 8th. So Hamby, I think, started somewhere around 16th or so, and is now just slowly, quietly moving his way up. And he's in that 70 car. We haven't talked about him tonight.
I was going to say, what's up with Johnny's paint scheme here? I usually see him on the highlights from your series on Wednesday nights, road racing, as we know him as a extremely talented road racer, but he's in a black and yellow car here. I'm used to seeing him in more of a white paint scheme, but.
Yeah, I don't know, Scott. I think he just grabs whatever's in his hangar and goes out and races it. You never know what car he's going to show up on road race nights either. So, got usually about a choice of anywhere from 5 to 8 cars on Wednesday nights, and usually every week he's in a different one. Leave the lights are out in the pace car. We're going to be going green next time by. Heath Smith is still your leader. Andrew Schulte back there in the 81 car. And it looks like this will be a single file restart. Charles Widener start back there in that red 95 car. Justin Michael just behind him in that 87 Camping World car. Joe Marks in the American flag number 4. Mike Erder in the 117 will start in 6th. Kim Quick starting in 7th. Johnny Hamby in 8th. Jason Hughes.
Now here, Ken, if you want to catch up, we're off turn 2. Looks like Justin Michael just got into the wall for turn 4 on that restart. Did you catch up with us, Ken?
I did. I was living in the past.
Just want to relive it.
Yeah, can't get enough. That's what happens when you go back and look at replays.
Here we are,
So
Justin
our
Michael
current-
bouncing off the wall, then staying in the gas, keeping the pressure on for Charles Widener here, trying to pick up third spot.
Yeah, great bag. The 87 is almost getting that back, whatever you call it, that tube frame up against that 95. Looking on the inside right now, Charles Widener for that third position. See if he can get himself back in the top 3.
There we are on the left side of Charles Widener off turn 4, looking at the right side of Justin Michael. Bandit Motorsports across the granite stripe, neck and neck. Not giving an inch. Justin Michael looks like he's going to try a little bit of, not necessarily a slide job, because he keeps that lower lane tucked nice and neat. Clears Charlie, but Charlie looks like he's going to come back on the inside for some battle in turn 3.
Yeah, trying the crossover, but can't quite drive it in there deep enough now that that 87's got that outside lane. So 87's...
He needs that Doug Hebron move there. Just throw it in there in 3.
That's a free pass. Speaking of Doug Hebron, so how's your boy how's he making his way back up through the field right now? So Doug, it looks like he's in 14th now, kind of trying to run down the 71 car at David Desjardins.
Yeah, probably a little bit off pace here, running a 30.2 compared to the leader's 29.9. So about 3/10 off the pace of the lead, but nonetheless.
Nice little battle here. Kim Quick, Mike Erder up there for the 6th position, basically. And then Joe Marks in this mix as well. These 3 guys kind of been battling it out all night. Kim Quick looking really strong tonight. I think he just can't find a way to get around these guys. And Mike Erder just ahead of him is no stranger to speed either. So guys looking really solid tonight.
Yeah, definitely. Mike Erder doing a nice job there in turn 3 and 4. Looking for the inside of Joe Marks. Even though we don't see a lot of these guys on Monday nights, these guys race with each other for weeks after weeks after weeks. I can speak for myself when I say that from the Kragenstein team, I've raced with these guys a lot, and they are no strangers from each other, racing side by side, Mike Erder and Joe Marks.
Well, we had a change for the lead while we were talking there, Scott. That 81 car of Andrew Schulte somehow got by that one car, Heath Smith. And so Heath Smith is now in the sandwich, in the Bandit Motorsports sandwich right now, with Justin Michael right behind him.
Look at that move. Speaking of teammates, like you said, the Camping World car is up here. 2 against 1 of Heath Smith. I think Andrew Schulte may be playing some team play here as he ducks to the inside on the front stretch. We'll see if he does it on the back stretch here too, maybe to give a little bit of drafting help to his partner, Justin Michael here.
Yeah, and you see Heath Smith go back to the inside there, trying to make that low line stick. And Heath Smith, like I said, he's kind of a veteran on these modified cars, so if anybody knows how to wheel around this track, it's going to be Heath Smith. I believe they raced this track twice last regular season. I believe it was about 12 races here, or 12 races in the season. I was going back through their stats from last season, and Heath Smith, as I said, dominated most of the season.
There he is, up against the Bandit guys. Down low in turn 3 and 4. Neck and neck, trying to carry the momentum off of turn 4. Has to let off the gas slightly to keep from getting into the 81 car of Schulte. But not giving up here. Great 3-car battle here for the lead.
Yeah, Heath Smith, I'm just going back. He was a champion last season with 7 wins, Scott, in 12 races. So clearly a dominant guy.
Watch
Looks
from
like
a
the 80
cockpit cam here of E. Smith.
It's just amazing. Every time I think that Andrew's going to get the advantage, Heath Smith can get it in there. Oh, it looks like, I thought Justin Michael was going to take it 3 wide. This is a great battle here. Meanwhile, while these 3 guys are duking it out, you got the 95 car. Charles Widener says, I want some action up here. You guys can't count me out.
The front bumper cam on Charles here. Charlie Widener here, trying to gain some momentum while these guys are side by side for the lead. It's the 87 of Justin Michael just ahead. Heath Smith on the inside. Charlie says, I'll go with whoever I think is faster, but right now I can't decide.
Yeah, and Heath got the car got it stepped out of him a little bit, almost got into the side of Andrew. He had to check up. That allowed Justin Michael to get alongside of him. Now he's trying to claw his way back up to that 81 car under Schulte.
Great battle up here. We're on the spotter stand right now. See what the view is from the spotter stand as these cars continue to do battle up here. Justin Michael still trying to fight his way through fender to fender. 68 laps on the board. We're getting down to it here. Less than 40 laps to go.
37 to be precise, and we see the two Bandit guys now nose to tail. Justin Michael able to clear the one car. Heath Smith 95 car tucks in behind that one car, and we'll see if Heath can get those tires cooled down, or maybe even do a Doug Hevron pass and maybe move somebody out of the way.
Right? I don't know, 50 bucks on the line might be worth a move.
Bandit guys have been pretty strong in the Cup Series. You know, they come out here in the Modified Series. I think Heath Smith, who's probably the guy that owns this series right now, is going to want to keep his name up there in the lights here. They're going to push hard, so I'm still hoping for my boy out there.
Michael Milfeld in the chat, still enjoying the race. He says, great racing out there. Glad you're enjoying it, Mike. Wish, of course, you could be on the track with us, but if you can't, glad we can cover this side-by-side battle for the lead up here. Justin Michael not happy sitting behind Andrew Schulte. Taking the low side, Andrew gives him plenty of room. We'll see if these teammates are willing to swap the spots. Oh, there's got Heath Smith breathing down his neck, too.
Yeah, just behind them, there's a good battle, and I don't want to come off the leaders, but I'm watching a battle just behind them, and it looks like that was that's 117 car of Mike Erder trying to get around the 4 car of Joe Marks. Got Kim Quick behind him. That's another 4-car battle. Johnny Hamby just behind them. These guys are having basically the same battle that Justin Michael, Andrew Schulte, and Heath Smith are having.
Great racing all the way around the Magic Mile up here.
Back up front, got Charles Widener now taking a look on the inside of that 1 car, Heath Smith, trying to get around him. Charles Widener showing some muscle as we got, looks like about 33 laps to go. Trying to pick up that last podium spot there and try to have something for the Bandit boys. And you can see, couldn't quite get the pass done. Falls back in line, pretty much top 4 single file. Heath Smith takes a quick peek, looking further back. Joe Marks, Kim Quick somehow got around the 117 of Mike Erder, so Kim Quick has moved up another position, up to 6. Got Johnny Hamby putting a lot of pressure on that 21 car right at the moment, as those 4 or 5 guys have got it sorted out. Mr. Smoke, Jason Hughes back there rounding out that last car in that 6 or 7 car battle. Now he's under pressure. Let's see, Jason Hughes is under pressure from Kyle Sturck, who was our leader, our pole sitter, trying work his way back up to the front.
Wait a minute. Wasn't Sturck on his roof at one point?
He was, Scott. And he did end up in a pile of smoke like Mr. Billen did tonight. Billen and both Sturck ended on their roof. It looks like Sturck got the better end of the deal. And you can see Kyle Sturck putting some pressure on Mike Erder now. Seems to be struggling keeping up with that group of cars that he'd been battling all night. See Sturck run that low line up alongside Mike Erder, see if he can get the pass done to the North Tex corner. However, he's running out of time with 30 laps to go, so he is, it looks like, Scott, 3.5 seconds behind our leaders right now in this pack of cars as he works alongside of Johnny Hamby here trying to get the pass done.
We're on board right now with Mikey Erder. Stuck on the inside on that 083 car. See how much work Erder's putting in that wheel. Look at him swatting flies off of turn 4. This is the hardest, trickiest part of the track it is to control to keep the tires going forward. He does a great job here. Falls in line in back of Johnny Hamby.
Yeah, this is a great battle. Right now, I moved back up front. We got Heath Smith challenging back for a second. It's along the inside there, Justin Michael. I had to back it off there going into 3, it looks like. I'm headed, Charles Widener almost gets in the back of that 1 car as well. Sees Charles Widener pushing that 1 car, trying to get him up there, but looks like that 1 car was trying to get around the 87 to Justin Michael. Couldn't quite get it done. Justin Michael goes to the inside of his teammate. I don't think that's going to work that low, so couldn't quite get it done. Doesn't have the momentum to get off the corner.
Heath Smith showing a nose. thinks better of it. Fall back in line in turn 3. Maybe he'll set up something, gain some momentum off of turn 4 for a pass, maybe down the front stretch. Let's go on board with Heath Smith. See what he's doing down the front stretch. Can't quite get close enough to that 87 car of Justin Michael up there.
So up to the 5th position, Kyle Sturck. Give that 083 car, the guy that was on his roof.
I want to go back in front. I think I saw somebody sideways. Yes, Schulte.
Oh,
There's all kinds of sideways here. I think off of turn number 2.
that was Michael, actually. Yeah, it's just a Michael.
Turn 4. I have a spectator climbing the
Seeing
fence.
Justin Michael up against the inside on the apron there. Looks like Justin Michael just lost the rear end of it.
We'll go back here. The full speed replay. Justin Michael in turn 1 and 2. All by himself. Gets loose. And just kind of gets finished up by Heath Smith there, but nowhere that Heath could go. Parks it on the inside of the tunnel there in turn 1 and 2. Tough break for Justin Michael all by himself.
Yeah, and Heath Smith was doing what he needed to do. He's putting all kinds of pressure on that 87 car, so I'm sure that 87 was pushing as hard as he could, trying to stay up there with his teammate, Andrew Schulte. So here's a big one. We're going to have about 25 to go when Andrew Schulte crosses the line, which he already has, so well, not quite. See if any of these guys head to pit lane as they're approaching the entrance here.
What do you think? What are you thinking, Ken? If you're back in the pack, leaders are coming in. So watch it come down pit road. Charles Widener fakes him out. Kim Quick, I think, is that Kim or Johnny Hamby? I think that's Kim Quick.
Yeah,
staying
that's
out
Kim
as
Quick.
well. If you're way back in this pack, I'm almost thinking track position is maybe more key than sitting back in 15th hoping for something to happen. It ain't gonna happen that way. We got 4 cars staying out on pit road here, or staying out on the racetrack, I should say.
I would agree, but looking back at previous cautions, these guys probably have about 50 laps on their tires. As we see the jacks go up on the right side of these cars, see how many take 4 tires here, especially with our leaders. I'm watching Kyle Sturck and Heath Smith right now. And Kyle Sturck takes 2 tires. Heath Smith and both Andrew Schulte are taking 4. And they are headed out. Looks like Heath Smith's going to lose a bunch of positions. Andrew Schulte still late on getting out of the pits. He's going to drop back probably outside of the top 10.
Wow. Big change of events here off of pit road, strategy-wise. We're going to be seeing quite the mix-up here on this restart with just 20 laps to go. Guys on different tires. Guys up front that we necessarily haven't seen up front. Kim Quick starting on the front row. If we got a double file restart here.
Well, Kyle Sturck was on the move as right before that caution came out there, Scott. I wanted to bring attention to him. He'd gotten by that pack of cars, Kim Quick, Johnny Hamby, Mike Erder, Joe Marks. He'd gotten by all those guys and was now starting to run down the top 4 before that incident happened. I wanted to bring that to everybody's attention because that is our pole sitter. He's the fastest guy in practice. Now he's the first car with somewhat new tires. I believe he only took 2, while his it looks like Heath Smith took 4. So Jason Hughes, Joe Marks, I think all these guys, Mike Erder took 2 tires. So Heath Smith being the first one out there on 4. Looks like he's going to restart this thing in about 7th.
Right in back of him, of course. There's our guys neck and neck again, Ken. You got Heath. I got Dougie right behind him in 8th.
Well, I'm nervous now because I got the 22 car back there who knows how to pass cars. At least tonight. I'm just giving you a hard time there, Doug.
One way or the other.
You just did it once tonight, but now that's the world you're going to have to live in tonight. Looking up front, I believe, yep, lights are out in the pace car. So Charles Widener is going to lead them to green. He did not come in the pits. Same thing with Kim Quick. Both of them out there on the older tires, probably 50 laps on their equipment. Then we got Kyle Sturck out there on 2 tires, going to start this thing 3rd, probably the fastest guy of the field. Joe Marks just behind them in 4th. Jason Hughes in 5th, having a solid night. Mike Erder back there in 6th. All these guys took 2 tires, I believe. And then the first guy with 4 tires, Heath Smith, back there in 7th in that yellow one machine. Doug Hevron, I don't know how many tires he took, but he's back there in the top 10.
I think he took, the report is that Dougie took 8 tires on pit road.
He's going to need them.
They tell me 8 tires turn better than 4. I think Dougie's using every inch of it. One thing we do on Monday nights.
4 elbows.
Yeah, he's got all of them on board. On Monday nights, we do a crank it up session. Let's try it modified style here. Enjoy it. Turn up the volume here. Enjoy some racing modified style. The Richard Smith Memorial Race Green flag going out. 20 laps to go. Crank it up. Here we go. And we're back from that crank it up session. A lot of great stuff happening here. Field mixing up on different tire strategies. I think Charles Widener has an uphill battle ahead of him here with 20 laps to go, 19 laps to go now. Taking some heat from Kim Quick and Kyle Sturck on 4 tires, charging to the front of the field, Kim.
Yeah, 2 tires actually, Scott. Heath Smith's the one on 4 tires, so Kyle Sturck working all over the back of Kim Quick. But you can see the one car just behind that 083. He's the first car with 4 tires. And he's going to look. Oh, and he gets in. Oh, big incident there. Joe Marks. And we're still green somehow. Looks like Joe was able to do a 360 in the air and get that thing settled back on all 4s.
And Heath Smith to pit row. Looks like he's got some damage. Got to repair it. Probably a meatball. Unfortunate for Heath. Putting up a fight. Great action early on in this thing. But Charles Widener now under pressure with Kim Quick. And like I said, Kyle Sturck with 2 tires. Looking to wait out his time and make a move here.
Yeah, Charles Widener, our leader, Kim Quick. Those 2 guys doing a good job holding off Kyle Sturck, I would say there, Scott. So they're on older tires, about 50 laps older tires. So the big question is, you also got the 81 now closing in. Andrew Schulte had a bad pit stop for some reason. I'm not sure what the deal was. But I imagine Andrew's on 4 tires. He's coming in a hurry. And you can see that that's causing Kyle Sturck to say, you know what, I need to get up on the wheel here because that 81 car is coming in a hurry.
There it is, 83 comes side by side with Kim Quick. This battle down the backstretch into turn 3, side by side. I think the outside is the preferred lane, but I don't know if it's going to hold weight for the 2 tires that Sturck has on the inside. Drag racing down the front stretch, across the granite stripe, down turn 1. Kim says, okay, I'll let off early and fall in line behind you here.
Well, that was a sudden move there by that car, too. I was kind of surprised, almost like something broke on that car, but
yeah, still losing spots here, possibly.
Yeah, got Andrew Schulte back there now, working the back of that 21 car, see if Andrew can get by. But Charlie Widener doing a fantastic job holding on to the lead currently. Going to start feeling some pressure, I imagine, and see if he can hold off that 083.
Oh, as we say that, Andrew Schulte looks like just gets into the left rear, maybe of Kim Quick.
What we call the Doug Haveron pass right there.
Yellow flag is out. Man, tough break for Kim Quick. We saw him and Andrew getting together in turn 1 there.
Yeah, I almost feel like Kim all of a sudden started struggling, like maybe a tire was going down or something, because he was really strong there running with Charles Widener, and then all of a sudden the car just seemed to fall off. And I think maybe he was maybe either tire going down or getting inside his head, watching all the pressure he was dealing with from behind, and just got kind of slow in the corner, and Andrew got in the back of him. So, or Andrew just wanted by no matter what.
Well, we're gonna reset them, restack them, with Sturck being on the outside. Man, if you're Charlie, what do you think up there? Did you want this to go green, or were you hoping for? I don't know that Charlie would be hoping for a caution, right? Because he was doing pretty good holding his own there, keeping Kyle Sturck behind him as long as he could.
Yeah, without having the experience in the car, Scott, I don't know. I think, you know, you're starting in first. It's really not going to change anything. I imagine Charlie will get a decent start and be able to keep the lead. The question is maybe this will help him out. Maybe if the tires cool down a little bit. That'd be my only guess. It'd be like, well, it doesn't really matter. Maybe the tires will be a little bit cooler. Maybe I can hold them off a little bit longer. And then plus, it's going to give him another 4 laps while we're under caution to lead this thing. So kind of start ticking off laps, kind of get closer to the end where you don't really have to race the car. Might be probably what I'd be hoping for.
Yeah, so I was just thinking as I was shooting from the hip there and brainstorming that strategy that as you get down to it, he was doing a great job, but he knew at some point Stark was going to increase that pressure slowly and slowly. But at some point, maybe you do hope for a caution so you can rack off 3 or 4 laps under yellow that you don't have to deal with under green.
Well, Scott, I'd like to make a shout out to the 4th position currently on the track.
DFH, Frankenstein Camp.
He is moving his way back up. He's your pick on the night. That 22 at Doug Hevron, of course.
Let's talk to Dougie. What do you think? Do you want to talk to him?
Yeah.
I'll bring it up
sure.
for you, Ken. Here we go.
Hey, Doug, you're up here in the Scott, or up here in the booth with myself and Scott. How's your night going tonight?
Well, it's been rather interesting, you know. Been in some wrecks, hit the wall, been in the back, been in the front. Good
Well,
place
that's
to
what
be right now.
That's what I was going to say earlier in the race. It seemed like you were part of every incident out there. Not saying that you caused it, but it seemed like when there was something going on out there, you were in the middle of it.
Yeah, it seemed like there was a magnet there, but you know, you just keep on going, I guess, and it worked out for me. I end up missing a few wrecks, and now I'm running here 4th, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's always good talking to you, Doug. So you're up there in 4th, as you said. What's your plan to try to get around these other 3 guys that are ahead of you?
Well, be on the outside, so that's a good thing. And just stay out there, and hopefully somebody will make a mistake in front of me.
Yeah, that sounds good. Well, we'll send you back to your team. Do you have anything for him, Scott, before we send him back?
I just want to let you know, Doug, not to increase the pressure on you, but you're my pick tonight to take all the checker. I called you back at lap 10. Dougie Hevron going to the front, so let's go.
DFH, baby.
DFH, baby. Good luck, buddy.
Thanks.
I was
There
going
it
to tell him, Scott. All he had to do is beat the 1 car. And then you've essentially beat me.
There it is. 1 car is out of the picture. I think Stark is he off
He's back
officially
there
off
in
track?
12.
Oh, no, he ain't done
He's
yet.
back there. Yeah, he's
There we go.
must have went and got tires after that and said, you know what, I might as well. It's the only chance I got. So we're going to rack and stack, as we like to say. Charles Widener going to take the inside lane on his outside. Kyle Stark super fast tonight. Andrew Schulte, another one of those fast drivers. Doug Hevron, who we just spoke to, will start in 4th. Justin Michael out there in 5th. And Jack Watts will start this thing in 6th. Scott, take us to hopefully the final green flag.
Quite possibly. Looks like 10 to go right now. Maybe coming to 10 to go, I think, this time on the green flag. Like I said, Charlie doing a great job. We'll see what he has. See what kind of restart Sturk can do on the fresher 2-tire change. A couple of yellows ago. Pace car is in. Here we go. 10 laps. Magic mile. 10 miles. Count them down. To the Geico restart zone. We are under green. Side by side. Charlie gets another great jump here and clears Kyle Sturk at turn 1.
I was looking at the chat, and Andrew Schulte made a comment that says, netcode? Maybe that was netcode? I'm like, no, we're not giving you that much credit there, Andrew. Oh, the Kyle Sturk gets into the back of the 95. I thought there was going to be something big there. Kyle Sturk is putting all kinds of pressure on Charles Widener right now. He wants that position, and he wants it now. He knows the laps are counting down. 9 to go this time by. You can see Kyle starting to really work that thing. Charlie's really going to have to get up on the wheel the next 9 laps.
We got another visitor here to this top 4 or 5 battle. Justin Michael saying, I ain't done yet. 9 laps to go. Pay window is open. Don't get your rim riding around the top side of New Hampshire. Don't see that very often. Keep the momentum going up as he gives that position to Justin Michael here down the back stretch. But man, Doug, I can guarantee you he's giving it everything he's got back there in that 22 car.
I guarantee that too. Charles Widener giving it everything he's got right now. Got about a car and a half length ahead of that 083 car of Kyle. Doing a great job holding them off at this point. Was close at the start. You see the 083 closing in the center, but the drive off, the 95 seems to have it so far.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of discipline shown by Charlie Widener to not let Kyle Sturk throw him off his own game. Charlie's in the lead for a reason. He says, I'm going to run my lane. You're going to work around me. And I'm taking the line that I'm going to want to run as Kyle Sturk is right on his bumper here. 7 to go.
Yeah, you can see Charlie opened up the bottom on that last turn, and now he closed it off. So he kind of closed the door down on the bottom, kind of driving with his mirror at the moment. And that's kind of what he needs to do, because he almost opened himself up to that bottom lane, allowing Kyle on the bottom. And with Kyle on better tires than Charlie, definitely doesn't want to give him any track advantage whatsoever.
Absolutely not. I think Charlie's best friend is doing exactly what he's been doing. I would say if I were the spotter, I'd tell him, take that rear view mirror and rip it right off, throw it on the dash, throw it on the floorboard, because you ain't going to need it. Keep doing what you're doing, Charlie.
Yeah, great job running that lower line. We haven't seen these guys run, and that's basically a defensive move, trying to keep that guy from getting on that low side. And then we've seen a lot of guys get into the back, couple of spins tonight. Andrew Schulte, Doug Heveron getting into the back of guys because they open up the bottom like that, and that allows you to get under there, and sometimes there's that incidental contact and will send you around. So Charlie doing a great job running defense. 5 to go. Oh, and there's exactly what I was talking about. We're under caution. Oh, and then Charlie gets tagged again by the 6th car. I believe that was John Stepanich.
Tough break here for Charlie Widener. Man, oh man. We'll back that up and try to cover this for you here. Down in turn 1 and 2 here.
Yeah, Charlie was doing everything he needed to do. It looks like Kyle wanted that position more than Charlie did, I guess, as you could say. And it was a light tap, so I don't think it was super intentional, but the 83 definitely wanted that position.
There we go. We'll go from the backside of Charles Widener. Oh, I screwed up the replay again. I'm sorry, guys.
It's all good, Scott.
My replay buttons aren't working as well as they have in the past, but for some reason. But nonetheless, we will get this queued up because I do want to take a look at this from Charlie's standpoint here.
Yeah, I'm also trying to figure out the sorting order here. It looks like the 83 might have lost a position during all that before the caution came out, so he might be starting in second, which will make Andrew Schulte your new leader. It looks like. I'll let you take it, Scott.
Yeah, looks like there it is, spinning around like a top there in turn 1 and 2. Looks like another car just clipped him, got some right front damage as well, and Charlie Widener with the big engine troubles there. Tough break for him.
Yeah, he was doing a great job tonight. So good job out there, Charlie. Man, go get him next time. Maybe even on Monday night.
3 to go right now. Looks like it's going to be a green-white checkered finish here at New Hampshire. Andrew Schulte on the point.
Andrew Schulte, in the midst of all that, was able to grab the lead. So this is going to be a tough battle. You know that Kyle, he's aggressive. He's got the car to do it. And you know he's going to be all over that 81 car on the start of this thing. And I believe Kyle is kind of, the modifieds are his cup of tea.
They are. We're looking from the front bumper cam of Kyle Sturck right now, looking at Andrew Schulte. Normally that camera is straight. I think the camera still is straight, but I think it's the Nerf bar that is a little bent up on the front end of that car.
So I'm just looking back at my pick for the night. He's up to 7th, so gained quite a few positions, but I don't know, with 3 laps to go, he's going to need, like I said, I don't know how many green-white checkers we got tonight, but he's going to need a few of those, I think, to work his way up. However, Doug Heveron running back there in 4th will start on the outside, as he mentioned last time. You know, with these 3 guys, all very aggressive. Geez, I can't think of names all of a sudden. Andrew Schulte, Justin Michael, Kyle Sturck, all very aggressive. Doug Heveron, actually pretty aggressive himself, might be in the catbird seat when maybe there'll be 3 guys that tangle up here at the end.
Yeah, he started on the restart again, 4th outside the lane that he likes. We heard it from him last caution. 22 of DFH. I actually painted that car for him last year or a year or 2 ago. I don't know, that's an oldie one that we did, but for Dougie, that eagle on the back quarter panel there is an exact replica of a tattoo that he has on his forearm. Along with the 22 is an exact replica of a 22 number, which is his number back in the day, from a tattoo, and his actual signature on the door. So kind of a custom paint job. Not to mention, he's the only car out here with the Winston sticker there contingency sticker. So we're old school stickers here.
Very cool there, Scott. You always do a great job painting those. And if you guys ever need a paint, seek out Scott at Patent Paints. He'll get you set up. Of course, he's been quite busy. These guys like to do last minute paint jobs right before a race like this race tonight. I think you, as you mentioned, you did quite a few of them.
That we did. There we go. Green, white, checker finish. First of what I would believe is probably 2, but we don't know for sure. Doug says, I'm not going to wait around for 2. I'm going to get around the bumper of Kyle Sturck because he's got the fresh tires on the outside of Andrew Schulte. Pace car in. Here we go. Geico restart zone. Again, Andrew Schulte with a big jump. Oh, it's like something happened to Kyle Sturck on that start. Gets shuffled back in the mix here. Everybody going 3 wild.
He's going straight to the back. He lost, I don't know, 8 positions at this point. Kyle Sturck is out of this thing. Next time by, we'll have 1 to go, I guess. Andrew Schulte and his teammate Justin Michael just back there, kind of nose to tail right now. Doug Hevron running in that 3rd position.
Come on, Dougie. Let's find a 3rd gear in this thing.
There you go.
1 to go. That means next flag's going to end this thing. 2 different lines by the Bandit boys up front. There's a chance they could tangle here and turn 3 and 4 as we go down the backstretch side by side for the lead. Schulte, Justin Michael on the inside. We'll see what they got here.
Yeah, power move by Justin Michael. Got down on the inside, trying to challenge Schulte on who's on the outside there. It's going to be a drag race to the finish line here. Both the teammates side by side. Andrew Schulte by a nose.
Wow, I don't even know if it was maybe a Nerf bar at best, but heck of a job by these guys up here. Heck of a finish. Andrew Schulte, Justin Michael 2nd, Doug Hevron 3rd, Johnny Hemby 4th, and Mike Erder rounding out the top 5. Great battles throughout the field there.
Yeah, Heath Smith ends up in 6th, Jack Watts 7th, Kim Quick in 8th, Jason Hughes in 9th, and Charles Widener. Tough break for Charles Widener, finishes this race in 10th. But hey, we're going to talk to our top 3 tonight, talk to our winner, Andrew Schulte. Side by side right now with his teammate, bumping tires. I guess can't be bumping fenders with these cars, but I don't even know if these cars will do a burnout. We'll see if Andrew Schulte can do a burnout. There's only 2 gears in this thing.
We're going to find out on the front stretch what he's got. He's revving it up. Anyway, we will queue up the results here shortly, and as Andrew Schulte parks it on the granite stripe, taking the checkered flag in the win here in the Richard Smith Memorial Race. We'll be right back momentarily, get everything queued up for the replay, and talk to our top 3 drivers here shortly.
You want me to pull them up?
Here we go with Doug Hevron. Ken, you want to talk to Doug Hevron, our 3rd place finisher tonight? We just got done talking to him on last caution there.
Well, you did it for Scott there, Doug. You finished ahead of the 1 car who was my pick, so congrats on that, and congrats on the 3rd place finish. So you want to tell me how that last 3 or 4 laps went for you?
Well, it was kind of hairy because I only had 1 more incident point, and I would have had a drive-through. So when 083 there got slow on the start, I don't know what happened, if he was damaged or missed a shift or whatever he did. I got into 3rd, but I just needed a little more time than green, white, checker to even. Those guys were teammates, so congratulations to them. It was a lot of fun. Big workout tonight. I'm sweating.
Well, it was fun watching you, like you said, going from the back to the front and supporting our fallen fellow racer out here in multi-league. So I'm sure everybody was quite entertained by your driving tonight and seeing all the mayhem that you had to fight your way through tonight to get back up to that 3rd finishing spot. Do you have anything you'd like to add to this race tonight?
No, I just appreciate everybody coming and donating, and the winner will get a trophy. And no, it was just great. I mean, it's bad when we lose somebody, and my heart's out to him and his family and everybody here. But it was fun. It definitely was a good show for that memorial race. I had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, well, like I said, it was fun for Scott and I to watch, and yeah, you have a good evening, and we'll see you out on the track in the future.
Okay, thanks. And I do like going from front to back because I like passing cars.
Doug, I just got to give a shout out to you. The fans don't know. One thing we want to talk about is the trophy tonight is from your buddy John Luther, who does a lot of work for you, but out of Oswego, New York, Motivated Creations. Check him out if you need trophies done. Is that your buddy up there in Old Modified Land?
Yeah, he's up at Oswego. He's actually at they got super dirt wheat at Oswego this week, so he's there. But he lives right in Oswego. Just a real good friend.
Cool. So appreciate you kind of spearheading that, putting the trophy together for tonight's winner. So appreciate that, Doug. Appreciate all the donations, like you said, and everybody coming together. More importantly, just participating to show support for Richard Smith, who's a great, of course, modified driver. New Hampshire being his favorite track. And you showed him what it's all about. Putting a great race on up front. Appreciate that, Doug. Congrats on 3rd place tonight.
Thank you, and thank you for all you guys do, guys.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
It's Dougie Hevron there. We'll talk to, who's second? Justin Michael, no stranger to the microphone. Justin Michael finishing 2nd spot tonight. Heck of a battle there for the lead. Talking about that last green-white checkered finish. Do you have anything for Andrew, or what was the plan there?
I mean, you know how much I hate this track, and hopefully you can hear me. I have a really bad cold.
Yep.
But yeah, you know how much I hate this track, so we just got a good jump, so that way we could get in front of the 3rd place guy there, and I just kind of sent it down into that one turn, and Andrew washed up, so I got under him, and I figured he would be able to pinch me and keep me down there. So, but I had to give it a try though. That was for sure. It was fun though.
Looked like a couple times, I think, in the middle of the race. I want to say you bounced off turn 2, maybe the front stretch somewhere in one of the starts. Was that just kind of a misguided? Do you remember where I'm talking about?
I don't really race these cars. I think I haven't raced these cars in probably like 5 or 6 years, and I'm not used to the offset on the right side. So I hit the wall a few times actually on the straightaway.
Yeah, so there it is. So just shows the talent that Justin Michael has, kind of coming in here with little to no experience, at least in the last couple of years, but showing dominant form. What Bandit Motorsports is all about. You and Andrew Sholto, P1 and P2, put on a great battle up there. Great show all around. So anybody to thank for the runner-up finish tonight?
Just everybody out there watching. Hopefully it was a good race. I never had the pleasure of racing with Richard, but everybody always said good things about him. So I had to show up for tonight just to run because of that. And but yeah, you did a good job on all these paints for the Bandit Motorsport guys. We like our camping world. So
Hashtag camping world.
Yeah, hashtag camping world. Hopefully that was fun to call up there for you, camping world on the inside and outside. So. But yeah, we definitely appreciated you guys.
Certainly.
At least when he painted the cars the way he did, basically only had to paint one car. I mean, he's giving me a sob story about painting all these cars, but it's like, well, they're all the same. So it's just cut and paste, isn't it, Scott?
Yeah, to some extent. Well, last time we did this, so I told you this story started from a couple years ago when we raced in another league and we put together camping world cars, and everybody wanted them. And I thought it was a hilarious idea until I realized that there's 3 different manufacturers that I had to make the car for. So at least this time tonight, you're right. It was a lot of cut and paste because it's the same modified, same manufacturer. So that did make it a whole lot easier. Yes.
I mean, even me and Andrew's car should have been pretty easy. It was literally 1 digit difference.
That's true. 81, 87, just put a little tag on the top of the 7 there. Nonetheless, congrats, Justin. We'll look forward to seeing you hopefully on Monday night in the Stone River Outfitters Cup Series. And thanks for participating, and more importantly, thanks for showing support for Richard Smith. Of course, we talked about all night long how it's a big family here at Multi-League and how everybody takes care of each other. We all look out for each other, and certainly when people aren't around any longer, we show support for one another. So that's what tonight was all about. So appreciate you guys from all the Bandit Motorsports, even though you haven't raced with Richard, certainly coming out and showing support for him. I'm sure that means the world to the family at best. So appreciate that, Justin.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Here's your runner-up finish. We'll get Andrew Schulte. If you want to start that one, Ken, here is your race winner, Andrew Schulte.
Andrew Schulte, you did it tonight. You held off your teammate. How'd you do that?
Honestly, I don't really know. But first and foremost, want to shout out to Richard Smith and his family. Condolences there. I was like doing these memorial races for people. You know, it gets everyone together. Usually we have a pretty clean and good racing, and the mindset behind the race is just to have fun in someone's memory there. But getting it done against Justin there coming to the line, that was a lot of fun. I don't know how I held him off. I think he was quicker than me, and I didn't really think that I was the fastest car out there, but you could get to the front, and then the draft just seemed so strong that even if you tried to pull away, that anyone behind you was just going to catch back up to you in a couple laps. But these cars are a blast. I think anyone who hasn't run these yet should definitely get out there and give them a shot. It's a little bit different than full-bodied cars. You know, there isn't as much leeway with the wheel-to-wheel action there as there are on other cars, but they're a blast to drive.
Yeah, that would be me. I've never ran these cars, but I did put in some practice laps tonight, and I did have a lot of fun. And it actually was a lot of fun watching you guys tonight. And prior to that that last caution, you had Mr. Sturk, Kyle, back there, and he was a pole sitter. You were obviously started in second. Kyle was fast all night, kind of came from the back of the field, managed to race himself up to the back of you and Justin there. Did that concern you there towards the end of the race?
Well, so before that last caution, I didn't know if I was going to have an opportunity to get around either of the two leaders there. But yeah, luck just kind of fell on our lap there with when the caution came out, and was able to be, I guess, just ahead of him when that happened, and then from there it was 2-lap dash. I figured with a good restart there, I was terrible on restart, so I couldn't quite figure out how to stay right on whoever was in front of me at the time earlier in the race, but figured with a good restart that should build up a good enough buffer to hold anyone off. But like I said, Justin was pretty quick there and got a spot on the inside, and just had a good finish there.
Well, you did it when it counted, able to pull off the victory. A strong car. It was a lot of fun, like I said, Scott and I. And by the way, I don't know if you heard me during the broadcast, but I wasn't giving you the benefit of the doubt on the net code thing. I was just saying, you pulled a Doug Hevron. We already gave Doug Hevron early in the race for incidents similar to that. So we were just automatically calling that Doug Hevron move.
Yeah, no, not a problem. I didn't know what it looked like. I immediately told Kim, I was like, I think that was net code, because I didn't think he was that close to me. And afterwards, we've already talked about it, but he agreed there, and just an unfortunate incident, because that would have been fun to race him a little bit side by side too. Yeah,
it would have been fun to have Charlie up in the booth too. Scott and I, you guys, you and Mr. Michael, we talked to you guys quite a bit when you guys are out there running. So Charlie, he had a good race going, but sometimes those netcode things, they do happen. But I suppose we've spoken long enough about the race. You have anybody you want to thank tonight?
Shout out to the Bandit Motorsports teammates. Also, hashtag Camper World. Camper World is life. Appreciate the paint that Scott threw together for us. It's neat to see Justin and Greg and Kerry out there rocking the cars together too. Thank you guys for broadcasting this. Hope everyone else out there enjoyed the racing as well. I know it was a blast, just swapping spots up at the front all night. Like I said, it was hard to get away, so we were all kind of anything that, or any of us that broke away together, it seemed like about the top 4, top 5 usually were stuck on top of each other and just trying to make moves back and forth. So just hope everyone else out there enjoyed the race tonight.
All right, Andrew, and we got a couple things coming your way. $50 from all the donations that are being made. We raised a lot of money for the family of Richard Smith, so we're taking some of that pool. $50 to the winner. That's you, of course, as well as a trophy being donated that Doug Hevron kind of spearheaded that effort, but that's coming to you from John Luther Gray up in Oswego, New York, from Motivated Creations. So appreciate people participating. So you got another trophy coming your way. So awesome job here collecting the hardware at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, even though you guys want all the fill this and make it a fishing pond.
Yeah, one of these days I will. We'll have a Bass Fishing Pro tournament on the backstretch or something.
All All right, Andrew, congrats from all of us here up in the booth from Multi-League, and on behalf of the Richard Smith family. Hope they're maybe they're watching and enjoying this, and congrats, and we'll talk to you probably Monday from the Stone River Outfitters Cup Series playoffs. Congrats, Justin or Andrew.
Appreciate it.
Congrats.
There it is. Let's talk about a couple of things, Ken, that we haven't mentioned just yet in this broadcast. We talked about the trophy coming from John Luther Gray up in Oswego, New York, from Motivated Creations. $50 being donated. And that's coming out of a pool of money that we raised pretty much this last week. Like I said, Joe Marks spearheaded the effort to initiate this race, along with Heath Smith, kind of had the initial idea of doing something for Richard Smith and his family. Of course, being modifieds being his favorite car, New Hampshire being his favorite track to race on. But in a week's time, we kind of put out the broadcast, let everybody know what we were doing and what we had in mind, and everybody came together, and we raised collectively from the Multi-League series. We put together over $300 for this race being donated to the Richard Smith family to help out with, I know it's just a small token and money doesn't mean a whole lot in hard times like this, but it's at least something. It's something that we can do together as a league in racing, as we all come together from across the country to race on one racetrack against each other, fender to fender, enjoy a night of racing, great wheel-to-wheel action, and pay our tributes to a great Multi-League member, Richard Smith, who everybody's got nothing but great things to say about him all night long, Ken.
Yeah, most definitely. So many people reached out during the week talking about Richard, and like you and I talked, I never had a chance to race with him or anything like that, but well-respected driver in the league. I'm sure his family mourns the loss, but Godspeed, Richard. Hopefully you're racing the big cars in the sky, and we're thinking about you, brother.
Absolutely. Godspeed, Richard Smith. We're looking at the unofficial results here. Andrew Schulte taking out the checkered flag, of course, out in Wisconsin. Let's see if we can get the results to work here correctly. There it is. Mark Bill in 11th. Double D. David Jardin's having a tough night from Jimmy Todd Racing down in Somerset, Massachusetts, right around the corner from me. Trent Drum 13th. Joey Marks 14th. Kerry Cleaver 15th. Kyle Sturck, who obviously is finished, does not denote his dominating form in the top three all night. Unfortunately ended up on his roof. Scott Blaney from the Cranky Camp out in Arizona. John Stepanich 18th, Greg Mall in 19th, and Stephen Mago 21st, finishing shotgun on the field. Christopher Campbell 67 laps down with early trouble in this thing.
Yeah, great field out there. I'm interested in these standings there, Scott. Kyle Sturck, remember something happened. There's only 2 gears in this car. He went straight to the back. I wonder if the engine blew up or something, because it shows him 2 laps down on that last restart. But interesting finish there for Kyle.
There it is. So that's about a wrap from New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Appreciate everybody watching. If you care to do so, if you want to see more of what we do here in the Multi-League Racing Network, primarily we broadcast on Monday nights starting at 8:30 Eastern Time. We're getting down to the playoffs here, last couple races in the Stone River Outfitters Cup Series. It's a lot of the same competitors you've seen tonight. If you like what you see, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. You'll get notifications when we do go live. And lots of wheel-to-wheel action here in the nights to come in the next 4 or 5 weeks. We've got a special visitor, which we'll disclose here in the next couple of weeks, to help us with the finale in that Cup Series. Really, really looking forward to that one. But nonetheless, to wrap up tonight, Richard Smith, awesome driver. We brought up a couple drivers that had nothing but great things to say about him. Hopefully the family enjoys a little bit of kind of seeing what Richard Smith was all about here in the iRacing world, and how people came together to say great things about him, how clean of a racer he was, how competitive he was. And we even saw some comments about how great of a guy he is off the track and how he taught people life lessons, which is kind of ironic to talk about how much of a family this Multi-League is, and how guys, have an effect on each other's lives outside of the actual racetrack, when all we really do is kind of jump on this thing and race each week when we can. So it says a lot about the family here at Multi-League, and appreciate everybody participating. Congrats to Andrew Schulte, the winner, and we'll talk to everybody later this week. We'll see you on Monday if you care to join us for the Stone River Outfitters Cup Series. Otherwise, thanks everybody for watching. Have a great week, and congrats, Andrew Schulte.
Congrats, Andrew Schulte. Everybody have a good night. See you on Monday, I hope.